Middlesbrough isn't a town that gives anything away for free. Built on steelworks and industrial docks, Teesside is a place where respect is earned through graft, grit, and relentless work ethic. For 7 long years, Middlesbrough Football Club has been trapped in the English Championship, a 46-game meat grinder where big budgets fail and dreams of top-flight football die. But inside the Riverside Stadium, something unprecedented is taking shape. Over the last 2 years, Middlesbrough hasn't just built a promotion contender. They've engineered an American revolution. With over $13 million invested, Borough brought together 3 of the United States' most promising talents. Midfielder Aidan Morris, playmaker Sebastian Berhalter, and dynamic wingback Max Arfston. 3 players whose lives and careers intersected in Major League Soccer. On paper, signing 3 young Americans looks like a high-risk transfer strategy. But when you look into how these 3 actually got here, the knee injury that nearly broke one, and a dark mental slump that made one almost walk away from football entirely, you realize this wasn't an accident. Middlesbrough signed 3 players who forged their entire identity on surviving when people doubted them. To understand the DNA of this team, you start with Aidan Morris. Growing up in South Florida, Morris was never interested in flashy tricks or social media highlights. He played with a sharp, aggressive edge. If the ball was on the grass, Morris believed it belonged to him, and he'd run through a brick wall to claim it. In December 2020, at just 19 years old, Columbus Crew starter Darlington Nagbe,
he only scores goal of the year candidates,
tested positive for COVID-19 hours before the MLS Cup final. Morris got thrown into the starting 11 with 0 preparation time. Instead of playing it safe, he put on an absolute masterclass, becoming the youngest player in the league history to start and win an MLS Cup final. 4 months later, his world collapsed. During a match in April 2021, Morris felt his left knee buckle, a torn ACL. Just like that, a year of momentum dissolved in a fraction of a second. In interviews talking about those 10 months in rehab, Morris doesn't sugarcoat the experience. He felt isolated, bitter, and angry sitting in an empty gym while his teammates played on national TV. But that dark period reshaped his mental framework. He stopped taking a single training session for granted. When he returned in 2022, he played with double the intensity. Under Wilfred Nancy in Columbus, Morris grew into the undisputed best ball-winning midfielder in North America, winning another MLS Cup in 2023. When Middlesbrough paid $4 million to sign him in June 2024, Teesside fans instantly recognized his spirit. In a league known for physical intimidation, Morris gives 0 ground. He fights for every ball, demands the night in, night out battle, and sets physical standards for Carrick's midfield. While Morris was solidifying his reputation in Columbus, another midfielder in that same locker room was silently reaching his breaking point. Carrying the name Berhalter in American soccer comes with a heavy burden. Every bad pass is scrutinized. Every accomplishment is written off as favoritism. Sebastian spent 2 seasons trapped on the bench in Columbus, got traded to Austin FC, and once again found himself sitting on the sidelines watching games pass him by. In late 2021, Sebastian was done. In candid reflections about his journey, he admitted he sat alone in his apartment, completely burnt out, genuinely preparing to walk away from professional soccer forever at just age 20. The joy was gone. Then, the Vancouver Whitecaps stepped in and offered him one last lifeline. Head coach Vanni Sartini gave Berhalter something he had never received in his career: absolute trust. Sartini put him in the center of the pitch, handed him the keys to set pieces, and told him to play without fear. The shift was instantaneous. Berhalter didn't just rebuild his career, he transformed into a star. His set-piece delivery became lethal, hitting passing lanes nobody on the pitch could see. By 2025, he earned MLS Best 11 honors. By 2026 World Cup, he was starting for the United States, becoming the first MLS player in history to register both a goal and an assist in a single World Cup match. When Middlesbrough paid just $2 million for him in July 2026, it wasn't a gamble on a famous name, it was a calculated move for an elite playmaker who had clawed his way out of rock bottom to become one of the most composed midfielders in the game. The The final piece of Boro's American puzzle arrived in August 2026, completing one of the most improbable underdog stories in modern sports. Max Arfsten didn't come through a European academy. He wasn't a hyped teenage prodigy. He played college soccer at UC Davis, spending 3 years far away from scout shortlists before entering the 2023 MLS Super Draft. Draft picks outside the top 5 rarely make an impact in modern football. Columbus took Arfsten with the 14th pick, sent him down to the reserve team in MLS Next Pro, and waited to see if he belonged. Arfsten didn't just survive, he dominated. Manager Wilfred Nancy recognized something special: a 6'1" winger with a terrifying top-end speed, and a motor that never ran out of gas. Nancy retrained him into a modern wingback, forcing Arfsten to learn elite defensive positioning on the fly while covering 11 kilometers a game to stretch opposition defenses. Within 3 years, Arfsten went from playing in front of 500 people in MLS Next Pro to starting for the United States at the World Cup. Middlesbrough tracked his progress for over a year. In August 2026, they shelled out a marquee $7.5 million transfer fee to bring him to England, reuniting him with Aidan Morris and completing the American trio. Normally, when a club signs 3 players from overseas, it takes months for them to build chemistry. Middlesbrough doesn't have months. In the championship, you either adapt instantly or get left behind. And that is why this trio is so dangerous. Morris, Berhalter, and Arfsten didn't arrive as strangers. They share the same tactical language and the exact same mentality. Morris gives Middlesbrough the defensive backbone that allows Berhalter to dictate the tempo of the game. Arfsten provides the relentless wit that punishes teams trying to pack the penalty area. But on cold, wet Tuesday nights at Stoke or Millwall,
you have to show it in a winning night in Stoke.
You need players who refuse to buckle when the game turns dirty. Aidan Morris survived an ACL tear that could have derailed his whole career. Sebastian Berhalter stared down retirement at age 20 and rebuilt himself into an international star. Max Arfsten outworked an entire draft class to earn his place in English football. This trio isn't intimidated by the championship. They've already got battle scars. Middlesbrough stands on the edge of a return to the Premier League for the first time since 2017. The fans on Teesside don't care where the player comes from. They only care if you leave everything on the pitch for the shirt. And right now, 3 Americans are leading the charge to bring top-flight football back where it belongs.